Top 20 Director of Cybersecurity Interview Questions and Answers. Concise, interview-ready responses. If you want to land a director role, these are the questions hiring panels will expect you to answer with strategy, metrics, and examples. We cover strategy, incident response, cloud security, leadership, and emerging threats. All in 10 minutes so you can prepare efficiently. Each question, clear structure, approach, key controls, and a measurable outcome or example. Let's jump straight into the questions. Keep a notepad for phrasing you want to reuse. Questions 1 through 10. Practical leadership and technical strategy. First up, how to build a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy. Question 1. Q1. How would you develop a comprehensive cybersecurity strategy? Start with a current state risk assessment using NIST CSF or ISO 27001 to map assets, threats, and gaps. Align the strategy to business goals with stakeholders across IT, legal, finance, and leadership. Define policies for access, data protection, incident response, and monitoring. Use defense in depth, firewalls, encryption, EDR, MFA. Set metrics like MTTD and MTTR. Build a phased roadmap, and schedule regular reviews for agility. Q2. Incident response planning and execution. Follow the NIST lifecycle: preparation, identification, containment, eradication, recovery, lessons learned. Use CM for detection, EDR, and forensic tools for analysis. Coordinate cross-functional teams, IT, legal, communications, and isolate affected assets quickly. Practice with tabletop exercises, perform root cause analysis, update playbooks, and integrate IR with business continuity to minimize downtime. Q3. How do you stay updated? Subscribe to threat feeds like MITRE ATT and CK and US CERT. Follow vendors like CrowdStrike and read industry reporting daily. Attend conferences, Black Hat, RSA, participate in ISACA or ISC2 communities, and run team knowledge-sharing sessions for immediate operational value. Combine intelligence with vulnerability scans and proactive remediation to anticipate 0 days and emerging AI-driven attacks. Q4. Key metrics. Use leading indicators like patch compliance, phishing click rates, and remediation time to drive improvement. Lagging metrics. Incident frequency, MTTD, MTTR, and breach cost. Visualize these in executive dashboards using Splunk or Tableau. Benchmark against industry reports and use quantitative models like FAIR to communicate financial risk to executives. Q5. Handling a major data breach. Activate the IR team, confirm breach via logs and forensics, and contain by isolating affected systems. Notify legal for regulatory obligations, coordinate internal communications, and engage PR for controlled external messaging as needed. Recover from secure backups, patch root causes, consider third-party forensics, update policies, and train staff to prevent recurrence. Q6. Why awareness training? Human error causes most breaches. Start with baseline phishing simulations and mandatory core training. Use platforms like KnowB4, gamify learning, deliver role-specific modules, and run quarterly phishing tests to measure improvement. Secure leadership buy-in and foster a no-blame reporting culture to encourage quick threat reporting. Q7. Ensuring compliance. Map regulatory requirements to controls using COBIT or NIST 853 and data mapping for GDPR. For HIPAA, protect PHI with encryption and tight access logs. For PCI, segment cardholder environments and monitor continuously. Run audits, gap analyses, third-party assessments, and use GRC tools like RSA Archer to maintain evidence and reporting. Q8. Convincing execs. Build a business case, quantify risk, present ROI, and tie investments to business objectives and reputational impact. Use demos, heat maps, and near-miss examples. Show cost avoidance and operational benefits to shift perception from cost to strategic investment. Frame the ask in business terms. That often wins funding and accelerates adoption. Q9. Vendor risk management. Assess vendors pre-contract with questionnaires, request SOC2 reports, and include security clauses. Monitor vendors continuously with risk scores, vulnerability scanning of shared interfaces, and require right to audit and breach notifications. Categorize vendors by criticality and enforce higher controls for high-risk vendors through contractual and technical safeguards. Q10. Building a high-performing team. Hire diverse skills, balance technical depth with communication abilities, and onboard mentors. Support professional development with certifications and cross-training. Use agile methods and clear KPIs to measure performance. Prioritize well-being during incidents to reduce burnout and retain talent that directly improves readiness. Q11. Role of AI. AI accelerates detection and response by analyzing large telemetry sets for anomalies that humans miss. Use ML and EDR and SOAR for routine automation, but keep human oversight to handle adversarial inputs and reduce false positives. Adopt ethical AI practices and validate models regularly to avoid adversarial manipulation. Q12. DevSecOps. Shift security left with SAST in code reviews and DAST in test phases, automating checks in CI/CD. Use IAC scanning, container security, and collaborate with dev teams through shared ownership and training. Measure secure code deployment rate and reduce friction so velocity isn't sacrificed for security. Q13. Securing cloud. Apply shared responsibility models, enforce strong IAM and encryption, and use network segmentation. Use continuous monitoring with CloudTrail, KSB for visibility, and posture tools to detect misconfigurations early. Automate remediation and govern shadow IT via policy and discovery tools to reduce exposure. Q14. Key components of risk assessment. Identify assets, threats, vulnerabilities, and measure likelihood versus impact. Use frameworks like FAIR or STRIDE for modeling and produce prioritized mitigation plans with residual risk noted. Engage stakeholders and review after major changes or annually to keep priorities aligned with business risk. Q15. Prioritizing with limited resources. Use risk-based scoring. Tackle high-impact, high-likelihood items first. Create a roadmap with quick wins like MFA rollouts and involve a steering committee to align decisions with business needs. Be prepared to reprioritize when threats shift. Focus on controls that reduce exposure fastest. Q16. Zero trust. Assume no implicit trust, verify every request, apply least privilege and micro-segmentation. Implement continuous authentication, MFA, and pilot on critical assets before broad rollout. Benefits: limits lateral movement, improves remote access security, and supports compliance. Q17. Managing insider threats. Combine background checks, RBAC, and monitoring with UEBA to detect anomalies. Build a culture of reporting, use least privilege and immediate access revocation on offboarding to reduce risk. Ensure forensic readiness to investigate suspected exfiltration and refine controls based on findings. Q18. Cyber insurance perspective. It transfers financial risk for breaches but is not a substitute for controls. Ensure you meet underwriting requirements like MFA and patching. Review exclusions such as ransomware clauses carefully. Use insurance to cover residual high-severity, low-frequency risks, and review coverage annually as threat landscape changes. Q19. Fostering security culture. Leadership models secure behavior, integrate security into onboarding and daily workflows, create security champions across departments, incentivize reporting, and communicate real-world stories to make it relatable. Measure culture with surveys and adjust programs to close awareness gaps and reward positive behavior. Q20. Emerging threats, AI-generated deepfakes for social engineering, supply chain attacks, and the long-term risk of quantum computing. Mitigate via threat intelligence, SBIOMs for supply chain visibility, and defensive AI tools to detect synthetic content. Prepare for post-quantum crypto migration planning while staying involved in intelligence sharing for proactive defense. Quick recap. Emphasize strategy aligned to business, measurable metrics, practiced incident response, and strong people processes. In interviews, structure answers, approach, controls, and a measurable example that shows leadership and impact. Practice these 20 answers out loud, tailor examples to the employer, and bring metrics to every discussion. If this helped, subscribe for more cybersecurity interview guides and download the summary notes in the description. Good luck in your interviews. Lead with strategy, prove outcomes, and show you can protect the business. Thanks for watching.